Y'all, there is so much going on right now. Y'all, it's Monday. This is a way to start a week, let me tell you. It is Monday. It is December 9th. We have to talk about Daniel Penny. We have to talk about the murderer of Brian Thompson, who has been apprehended and is in custody. And ladies, he's kind of a hottie. Like, very weird how good looking this man is to be a murderer. Anyway, and we also need to talk about Jay-Z and Diddy, obviously. Let me know if you guys can hear me. I can't see the live chat right now. Hopefully everything is good. I think we're okay here. Let's just jump into this. So I was sitting on my couch just chilling, doing some computer work, and this article gets sent to me by Yahoo News, because I'm signed up for everything, right? Yahoo, MSNBC, CNN, Fox, ABC, CBS, whatever you can have out there, I get signed up for because I don't want to miss anything, right? So I get this article, and this is literally minutes before they decided to release the name of this person. So I get this article from Yahoo News, which is from ABC technically, and it says United Healthcare CEO shooting latest, right? This is just happening. And it said man held for questioning in Pennsylvania. And I was like, all right, so let's see what this is all about. So I click on the article, and it says they're questioning a man from Alatoona, Pennsylvania, in connection with the shooting death, murder, assassination, whatever you want to call it, of the United Healthcare CEO, Brian Thompson. And I'm like, all right, it's a man. So I'm very curious, because one of those pictures, we've talked about it numerous times, looked real feminine from the angle that they showed it. And I was like, maybe it's a woman. I feel like all three pictures they kept showing us of this person were different, and it was supposed to kind of be like a wild goose chase at that point. And now I have seen the picture of the person they are saying is the shooter, and I'm like, oh, he's real pretty in a very like heartthrob teen beat magazine cover poster on your wall as a 16-year-old kind of way. Very, very weird, right? So they started questioning this guy. They said that they said a man who matched the description of the CEO murder suspect has been arrested on unrelated charges. That's the interesting part. According to everything that this says, he went into some McDonald's in Alatoona, Pennsylvania, and a lady in there was like, oh, he looks real familiar. I don't know if it's the eyebrows, the eyes, or the top of the nose, because most of the pictures were missing most of his face, right? But she's like, oh, he looks real familiar. So she calls police, and police are like, all right, well, we're going to show up for all the tips that are being called in right now, because this is a brazen, fugitive, wanted suspect, whatever. So the cops show up, and they arrest him because they say that he was on a Greyhound bus traveling through Alatoona on Monday morning, which is today, when he got off and walked into McDonald's, where a witness recognized him, or thought she did. And when the police showed up, they said the man had a similar gun to the one used in the assassination-style killing. Let me just first off say, that's got to be a real stupid murderer to continue traveling on a Greyhound bus, number one, with the same gun on you that you used to kill somebody on the streets of Manhattan. So already I'm kind of like, y'all, if you've been here before, you already know that I'm not going to take all of this at face value, because this feels very, look at me, don't focus on everything else that's going on right now with Nancy Pelosi and Jay-Z and Diddy and, well, technically Nancy Pelosi and the Brian Thompson CEO guy, and then Jay-Z and Diddy and everything else, what's going on in Syria, what's going on with the fact that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are trash and not doing their jobs correctly, all these different things, Daniel Penny and Black Lives Matter, the BLM people who are calling for riots in New York. All of this feels real planted. That's the word we're going to go for, because they're saying that, you know, the backpack that he was wearing during the shooting, he just ditched it weirdly in the middle of, what was it, Central Park or somewhere? I don't know. He ditched this backpack, and inside it was Monopoly money and, oh, I forgot the other thing inside it. Either way, both things were stupid and made absolutely no sense whatsoever. Also, if you look at the pictures versus the video of this murderer during the murdering of Brian Thompson, the guy had on a backpack that looked cream colored and his jacket looked black. But if you look at the pictures they kept showing us from the hostel where he stayed or from the Starbucks where he went, none of them matched. Nothing matched, right? And now suddenly they just happen to find this man in a McDonald's. Okay, because he was riding Greyhound. Let's just give a little information here. Right now, they're saying in this article they don't say his name, but it's been out since then. His name is, in theory, Luigi Mangione. I forgot. Hold on. Let me pull it back up here. Luigi Mangione. Obviously Italian. Luigi, right? Ah, it's me, a Mario. Whatever. Luigi Mangione, which sounds like he should be on The Sopranos or playing a trumpet somewhere or in an Italian diner. I don't know. Maybe that's profiling. Anyway, let's get back to this article. So according to this, he was stopped with fake IDs, including a New Jersey ID that matches the one the suspected gunman used to check into an Upper West Side hostel before the shooting. Again, if you are smart enough to get your ass from Atlanta to Manhattan and to case the place and to wait for this man and to shoot this man and to kill this man and to get away on a bicycle, would you really be stupid enough to hold on to your fake ID that you used to book a hotel room? Would you really be stupid enough to keep the gun on you that you used to kill this man? You're trying to tell me, because this person, y'all, let's just intermingle a bunch of stuff here. He is a oh, what did they call him? Well, hold on. I have information here. Where is he? Person of interest, blah, 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 blah. Oh, this person has a master's and bachelor's degree in computer science from the University of Pennsylvania. Additionally, he gained recognition as the valedictorian at Gilman School in Baltimore, showcasing his academic excellence. His work includes contributions to machine learning and robotics as evidenced by projects on GitHub. He is 26 years old, and they're trying to say that this man who has a master's and a bachelor's degree just was stupid enough to keep this fake ID and the gun that murdered the man on him. Anyway, let's continue on. We're going to go back and forth between article and information. Let me show you the picture of him real fast. Let me just, and of course he happens to be holding a McDonald's Happy Meal for Lion King. So this is the person they are saying murdered Brian Thompson. Ladies and fellas, whatever you're into, guys, that right there, he's going to end up, and if he ends up in jail, you understand how many people are going to try to marry this guy while he's in jail because of those abs right there? I'm just saying. Anyway, let's continue on. So it says here that they recovered writings and a computer from the man in Altoona. I keep saying Altoona. He had a computer and writing. So they're saying he had a, what's that word called? Oh, I can't think of the word. When they have like the writing things on, the same thing they said about the guy in Buffalo, New York, who did the shooting, the white supremacist dude who shot up a grocery store in New York and basically was aiming for black people. He had a manifesto. Thank y'all. This is why I love you. Just so you know, this is teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work, y'all. So thank you for all of your squirrel teamwork. So they said he had a manifesto and a computer on him. But how? His backpack is in the middle of Central Park somewhere. Did you go buy a new backpack? They're not saying that part. Anyway, law enforcement told NYPD it looks like they're suspect. The NYPD is sending, this is obviously a little older. They were sending detectives to Altoona, which is in central Pennsylvania, about 100 miles east of Pittsburgh. And it says that as of Sunday, detectives were working through hundreds of tips that had been winnowed to dozens of potentially promising leads and had been eyeing 2 possible persons of interest. So they're already eyeing 2 people. Now they've got a 3rd person. Let me just say, remember I said those 3 pictures we were seeing were 3 different people. The shooter, the person in Starbucks, and the person in the hotel were 3 different people. And here they are saying they had 3 people of interest. When the math does math. Anyway, it says much of their work had been focused on the shooter's journey to Manhattan. They said he arrived there on November 24th, that he took a bus from Atlanta, Georgia, where I'm from before I moved to Florida, Atlanta, Georgia, all the way to Manhattan, okay? And it said here, the police knew the bus route he had taken because it went to Atlanta where the bus originated and poured over mountains of video and images from each of the 13 stops on that route. I'm still curious how they figured out he came from Atlanta. Like, just out of curiosity, like, how did you know where it started? I'm not a detective. I would love to be. It feels like a lot of fun stuff to try to piece things together. I'm curious how they figured out where he started. Okay. It says a new video obtained by ABC News shows the killer waiting for Thompson moments before the shooting. So they have a video now. And it says that in the video, you can see him kind of hanging out, standing around while other people are walking by. He wasn't trying to shoot them, but as soon as Brian Thompson exited the hotel, I think it was the Hilton, I think is what they said, in Manhattan. As soon as he came out the front door, that's when Broski, Luigi here in theory, decided to go ahead and take a shot. And if you watch the video of the shooting, which we can't play here on YouTube because YouTube sucks donkey balls, you can only watch it over on X and on the actual news, but not on YouTube, whatever. If you watch the video, it looked like somebody who didn't know how to use a gun. And honestly, it looked like it kept jamming and he was trying to like pump it. It just looked weird. But according to a lot of things that I have seen so far on the worldwide interwebs here, there's a lot of people with gun knowledge on podcasts and things that are saying that it was a specific type of gun and it wasn't jamming, that he was trying to chamber it each time. It had to be like rechambered, which I guess is a thing. All the guns I've ever shot, you don't have to rechamber in between shots, so I'm not quite sure. My SIG doesn't do it, Glock didn't do it, Kimber didn't do it. I'm not sure how that one works. But then it looked like he was trying to catch the casings as he was shooting, catch them from going over shoulder so nothing would be left behind. But then they said they found three casings that had words written on them. It's just very interesting, everything that happened there. So anyway, it says here the video, which has not previously been seen publicly, the one I was just telling you about where they said they saw him just milling about waiting, it appears to support the police narrative that the shooter targeted Thompson because he loitered while others wandered by. They haven't established a motive. Again, this is before everything else has come out. So when this was written, when they first found him, they said they had not established a motive, all right? But there's a whole timeline here. None of that shit matters. Let's get to the other stuff. So here's the breaking stuff, right? Let me refresh, see if anything new has popped up since we started this. No? Okay, so Luigi Mangione has been named as the strong person of interest in the murder of Brian Thompson. He is 26 years old, former Ivy League student from Maryland. That's where he's from. There is no way Luigi Mangione worked alone. Mangione knew exactly where Brian Thompson would be the morning he shot him in cold blood as he was walking into a hotel in NYC. Already, that's incorrect. He wasn't walking into the hotel. He was leaving the hotel. Let's make sure we fully understand that part. He was not going in. He was leaving. He had to be at the meeting that he was going to. Is supposed to speak at a seminar with his investors, or an investor seminar. It's supposed to start at 8 a.m. And it looked like he got murdered around the time of like 6:30 to 7:30. I don't know if they ever said the specific time, but he was leaving the hotel on his way to go to this investor meeting. And Mangione, or in theory, was awake for a very long time. Went by Starbucks to get some coffee because you want to have enough caffeine if you're going to murder somebody. And then went about his murdering. So it says here, prior to shooting Thompson, Mangione was on a burner phone with someone. There is way more to the story and we must not let it go. I haven't seen anything about a burner phone. The information that's coming out here from tons of different people, we have to take every single thing with a grain of salt. Even the shit I'm saying, take it with a grain of salt, because I'm having these conversations with you based off everything I have read and seen, and then my thoughts and opinions mixed into it. So even I cannot say that everything I'm telling you is 100% fact. Nobody has 100% fact. The only fact we know is that Brian Thompson was the CEO for United Healthcare, that he was in Manhattan and he was going to an investor seminar or meeting or whatever, that he had been working with Nancy Pelosi. Very interesting there. We'll get to that. And that when he exited the building, a masked man walked up and fired on him. Now, a lot of people have said, where's the body of Broski? Where's the autopsy report of the Broski? And is there proof that he actually died from these wounds? Because in the very, very beginning, you guys will remember when we first started talking about it, the moment it happened, we heard, they said immediately that he was shot in the chest. All right. Now, once the video came out of the actual shooting, he was shot in his lower left calf first. We saw that. Then he was shot in his back. And as his body fell, it's possible that it turned, but then the video kind of got blurred a little bit. So I'm not sure if he turned and that's how he was shot in the chest, or if he was ever actually shot in the chest. Again, a lot of people are asking if he's actually dead, or if this is something that is being done to cover up the fact that Nancy Pelosi, I'm going to try to remember this exactly how it goes. Nancy Pelosi had invested in okay, come on, Michelle, you can do it. Had invested in the Oh, cyber attack company, the one who was like looking into the cyber attacks on United Healthcare, was looking something Palto, something along those lines. She had just invested in the same people that were going to be investigating the cyber attack on United Healthcare, where a lot of people's information was released and stuff like that, right? And at the same time, Pelosi and Brian Thompson had been talking and working together on some grants for United Healthcare. It's this whole big Palo Alto. That's it. It's the Nancy Pelosi connection to Palo Alto. Thank you guys, because I couldn't remember it, but it's the whole, it's all the little pieces. When you step back and look at everything and put it all together, it looks shady as all get out, right? It looks very, very shady to begin with. And then the fact that now the finding of this guy, this Luigi Mangione, in theory, the shooter, has been the forefront of absolutely everything the last couple days, and nothing really seems to make sense when it comes to the outfit, the pictures, how brazen he was, because there's pictures of him in the back of the cab where he's got like the top part of his face showing. This thing here, this thing, how completely just planted does that look? Like, really? If you know you're about to go murder somebody, or you have just murdered somebody, are you going to peek through the opening in the taxi to be like, hi, what's up? How you doing? No, you're not going to do that. This isn't a stupid person, according to what he's done in his life by the age of 26. The physical aspect of him takes dedication and hard work and consistency and knowledge alone, right? I don't know. I'm not saying he didn't do it. I'm just saying a lot of the stuff here feels planted and feels too easy. Too easy. You happen to know what bike he got on. You know exactly what avenues he went down. Obviously, there's cameras, right? Cool. We understand that. But then you figured out he got on a Greyhound again, and the throwing away of the backpack with Monopoly money in it. That part does not make any sense. Keeping the gun and the fake ID on you also does not make any sense. But they're saying here, if I can get this, let's see, I've got to find this little part, because what I read earlier, far leftist, this is from Nick Sorter, all right, on X. Far leftist identified as a suspect in the assassination of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Is anyone surprised at all? Luigi Mangione, I don't know how to say Italian name, so I'm just gonna, whatever, is an anti-capitalist climate change activist and former Ivy League student who idolized Unabomber Ted Kaczynski, per New York Post. He was also carrying a manifesto blasting healthcare profits and calling for violence. I don't know. It doesn't, something feels wrong to me about it, and it's just one of those gut things. Just something doesn't add up to me. Something feels wrong about it. It feels like a fall guy, a patsy, or whatever. Same thing. I don't know how y'all feel about it, but same thing with the Thomas blah 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 blah. I don't remember his name. The one who attempted to assassinate Donald Trump on the roof of that building in Butler, Pennsylvania. Fall guy. I don't believe that. I don't believe this personally, just because it doesn't make sense to me. And if it doesn't make sense to me, it's hard for me to believe it. I know a lot of people will say, seeing is believing, or believing is seeing. Like, hold on, let's slow this down. Seeing is believing, right? That's what a lot of people say. If you can see it, you'll believe it. Well, you can't see, your religion. You can't see Jesus. You can't see God. You can't see Mary. You can't see any of these things. But if you believe it, then you can see it, because your belief helps you see it. This, to me, I'm seeing it, right? But I don't believe it. What I believe is that this is a setup, and I can see that shit clearly, right? And so I'm not okay with this. I'm going to keep paying attention to it, obviously, but I feel like we're being lied to, and basically being told to look over here. It feels like It feels like C19 all over again. Look over here while we do something real shady over here. That's what it feels like to me personally. At the same time that we are watching this, Joe Biden gave another $1 billion to Ukraine on top of that billion he just gave to Africa. On top of, while we're watching this, the people in North Carolina are freezing to death in tents because they're not allowed to live in the tiny homes that were built for them so they could, get out of the weather. And at the same time we're watching this, we're not seeing the fact that this is stupid, but either way, Time Magazine is trying to name Kamala Harris Person of the Year. What? And we're not seeing the fact that Jay-Z is now being accused of raping a 13-year-old with Diddy while some female stood in the corner. I would like to remind everybody, and this is off topic obviously, but when Jay-Z and Beyonce got together, Beyonce was underage. So Jay-Z technically has pedophiliac tendencies. So everything that they're saying right now about Jay-Z is not at all surprising. But back to this Luigi guy. I feel like he's a fall guy. He's a patsy. More information will come out. Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer were just on CNN. Maybe not just on. I don't know when it happened. I'm not even going to lie. They were together having a meal, weirdly, on CNN and basically admitted to the fact that they have been lying about Trump, that everything they did was to get Biden out of office, like all kinds of crazy stuff. But we're not seeing that because everything on mainstream media is pushing entertainment scare. That's what I want to call this. Entertainment scare. This is supposed to be like entertaining at the same time because you have everybody out there talking about how whoever took out Brian Thompson did everybody a favor because United Healthcare is shit. Somebody said that United Healthcare is who all of the military branches have their healthcare through. I don't know if that's true. I'm not in the healthcare industry or the military, and I forgot to look it up to find out. But if that's the case, that could have a big impact, right? This person could have been in the military at some point because of how he looks. It's possible he's in very good shape. Doesn't mean he was in the military, but it's possible. But everything that's happening right now is crazy. Then you have, let's not forget Daniel Penny. So, you know what? Hold on. I forgot what I was going to show you. I was going to show you the video of the, hello, come back. Where are you? Wait a second. There it is. I was going to show you this video that Nick Sorter had. It says, we already talked about that. I want you guys to hear this. Hold on. How long is this? Shush. Oh, this is 3 minutes long.
This afternoon,
just a minute of it.
This manhunt started in New York City. It's now hundreds of miles away where they believe they have the person they're now calling a suspect in for questioning. Why do they think it's a suspect? Well, they say it's quite simple. He matches the description. So somebody at McDonald's, John and Sandra in Altoona, picked up the phone, called it in and said, hey, I think we see this person you're looking for in that ongoing manhunt for the murder suspect of that CEO in Midtown Manhattan. So the cops say, we'll come over, we'll check it out.
That looks like a girl, right?
Description. They go and question him. What does he have in his pocket? Well, I'm told by sources he had a weapon in his pocket, and they believe it's the same gun that was used in this investigation.
Okay, so just before we move on to the next thing, this man who in theory murdered Brian Thompson, right? In theory murdered him, is being, hunted by media, by people, by the authorities. He has a weapon on him and a manifesto and a computer and a fake ID. And when the police show up, he just says, hi, and just stands there. What? Again, none of it makes sense. If he wanted to be caught, he wouldn't have run. If he didn't want to be caught, you would think he would fight back or continue running when the police show up. Again, nothing makes sense here. So that's that. There will be a lot more information coming out. This is just brand new stuff. It's happening while we're having this conversation here. So when this is all said and done, there'll be more information out. Maybe we'll go live again later. Oh no, I have my first ever Pilates class at 7 o'clock tonight. So probably not live again later, but we'll have a conversation again tomorrow on whatever new stuff they, drum up later on today about this whole situation. Now let's move on to Daniel Penny, if you would like, because I would like to. You guys might know the name. He is the man who subdued a homeless man on the subway in New York City, a homeless man who was threatening to murder every single person on the subway because he wanted something to drink, I think it was. I don't remember exactly what it was, like a ginger ale or a Mountain Dew or something along those lines. And at the time, Daniel Penny grabbed the man and put him in a headlock, right? To keep him from going after people. And there's video of it on the subway train, and everybody around is like, thank you, thank you, thank you. They're helping him. They're holding the guy down. Well, the holding down of the guy in the chokehold ended up ending his life. All right. So Daniel Penny was arrested for, they called it, I don't think they said manslaughter. I don't remember what they called it. I'm trying to get my X account here to work, and it's doing really stupid things right now. If it could just work, that would be amazing. No, look, this is what it's doing right now. It's just, everything is, that's not helpful during a live stream. Oh, we got one picture. This is not helpful during a live stream. Okay, so some of the stuff is popping up. Oh, like the protests that are erupting right now because of Black Lives Matter, BLM, in New York, because they are mad that Daniel Penny was found not guilty in the murder of, what's his name, Jordan Neely, I do believe. So what's crazy to me, Black Lives Matter, of course, show up, and they're on the front steps, and they're calling for riots in the streets. They're calling for people to take up arms and everything else. Black Lives Matter has been proven to be a leftist, just terrorist kind of organization. They haven't done anything to actually help the Black community. All they have really done is pushed this narrative that Black people are violent and angry and are thieves because of rioting and looting and all this other stuff. They have done nothing good. All of the money that they made during C-19, during their or before C-19, even during their protests after George Floyd, they spent that money on not helping Black communities, not sending any Black boys or girls to college, not helping anybody that was incarcerated wrongfully or even rightfully get out. Nothing. All the money was spent on the makers of BLM. And if I remember correctly, one of the top founders of BLM was a white person, which, the irony, if I remember correctly, I can't remember the name. I just remember seeing it at one point. So let me just, here we go. This is the one I want to show you. So this is BLM activist Hank Newsom. He says that we need some Black vigilantes and calls for killing white people. He says here, people want to jump up and choke us and kill us for being loud. How about we do the same when they attempt to oppress us? Well, here's the thing. Daniel was not just going after some random guy because he was Black. He stopped a man who was trying to physically harm other people who just happened to be Black, right? That's how it is. And somebody says BLM buying large mansions. And that's what happened. They bought like a $6 million mansion with the money that they made from supporters of BLM. How does that help anybody? Anyway, so you have this guy. Wait, look.
We need some Black vigilantes.
That's right.
People want to jump up and choke us and kill us for being loud. How about we do the same when they attempt to oppress us? I'm tired.
No. All that is calling for unwarranted violence. Like, Daniel Penny was not violent towards the man that he stopped. All he did was subdue him from harming other people, and a jury saw that. All the charges against him were thrown out. He is not guilty. And what's crazy is, if it had been a Black man who stopped a Black man, this never would have happened. What's his name? Alvin Braggs never would have had him arrested. There would be no trial. BLM would not be around anywhere. If it had been reversed and a Black man had choked out a white man who was trying to harm people on a train, again, there would be no trial. There would be none of this stuff. But because it was a white man that choked out a Black man, it had to be some division pushed, right? Anytime a Black man loses his life in a way that some of these people feel they can use as a anger divider or anger push anger, they use it, right? Same thing, George Floyd, same thing with this Jordan Neely, same thing with, although the Sandra Bland issue, I'm still very curious how exactly Sandra Bland ended up, but that's not what we're talking about here at all. It's just, New York City right now feels like they are trying to push this massive racial divide, and it doesn't make sense, right? Having Trump as president-elect is pushing these things even farther. I fully believe if Biden hadn't dropped out, or if Kamala Harris had won, let me figure out how to phrase all this correctly. If either of them had been president-elect, what happened in New York City would have been a non-issue. And that may sound stupid, but I believe that we're going to see more of these things becoming an issue because Republicans are coming back into power in the White House, in the House, in the Senate, in just your regular city councils in your states. Republicans are winning a bunch of different seats, and it is something that Democrats can't let happen. So there will continue to be a push to have some sort of divide, whether it's a racial divide, whether it is a sexist divide, like men versus women, whether it is money divide, the haves and the have-nots. You know, it's going to continue on for the next 4 years, and it sucks, but I'm calling it now. It's going to continue on for the next 4 years. Anytime something is done, it will continue on. I mean, the defund the police thing, that is going to come back at some point. I'm sure there'll be some reason why defund police comes back. But right now, you have these people. This is when they were waiting for the verdict. I want you to hear this woman. This is when they were waiting for the verdict. They didn't know that Daniel Penny was going to be found not guilty, and everything dropped. And this woman...
People who keep asking, are we going to riot? Are we going to protest? Is that what's needed? Do glass have to break? Do cars have to burn for a black man to get justice in America? We can't show up with peace. We can't show up with facts. We can't show up with evidence and witness after witness. You give us nothing. And then you ask...
I'm done. The angry screaming is not helpful to anybody at all whatsoever. But here's the problem. You're calling for violence as opposed to going about this in a different way. Violence begets violence, I guess is what they're trying to show you, because they're saying that Daniel Penny stopping Jordan Neely was violence. And so their way to combat that is with more violence and to destroy the cities in which they live. I still don't understand how that works, Minneapolis. I don't understand the destroying of your stomping ground. Then you have no jobs. Then you have nowhere to shop. Then people are getting hurt. How is this productive at all to your plight or your fight even? It doesn't make sense in the least. I noticed that there seems to be a lot, and this is I've noticed with BLM, with Black Lives Matter, not Bureau of Land Management, but with BLM, it seems to be the uproar comes when it is somebody who did something wrong to not deserve, because that's definitely not the right word, but to, I don't know how to phrase it, y'all. If that had just been some dude, okay, BLM, if they had shown up because Daniel Penny went onto the train, found a black dude, put him in a chokehold and choked him out for absolutely nothing, this would make sense. This does not make sense to me because it was a man. Jordan Neely was a man who clearly had something wrong with him, who jumped on a train and threatened to harm people. And Daniel Penny stopped him. That's not the same thing. The whole situation is backwards and crazy. And this is Jordan Neely's dad reacting to the not guilty verdict. I want to just point out the fact that Jordan Neely had 42 chances to help his son, because his son had been arrested 42 times, unless I'm dyslexic and it was 24. It's one of those, 24 or 42, had been arrested that many times. And where was his dad then? But now that his son has died, now his dad is speaking up. Now his dad is out there trying to, get justice for his son. Why didn't you help your son when he needed your help? Why are you waiting until now it's going to be a lucrative business for you? Now you're out there trying to say something. Listen to his dad. I feel like BLM went and found some guy and just said, hey, pretend to be his dad and be heartbroken or whatever, but...
I just want to say, I miss my son. My son didn't have to go through this. I didn't have to go through this either. It hurts. Really, really hurts. What are we gonna do, people? What's gonna happen to us now?
Okay, I don't listen anymore. You know what? I don't believe anything that man's saying. There is no emotion on his face. There's no nothing. He's just talking, saying the things that need to be said or whatever else. But again, as a parent, why would you wait until it's too late to give a shit about your kid? Now, of course, it's possible that he had been trying every single day to get his child, his son, help or off the streets or whatever else, and it wasn't working. That's possible. But I don't think that's the case. Personally, I don't think that's the case. We would have heard from him before all of this. He would have been out and about ranting and raving about, no, that's not the right word. That's normally considered a good thing, ranting and raving, right? No? Is that considered good? Like, I had the best food. Oh, rant and rave about how great it is. Yeah, that feels like it's a good thing. He would have been out bitching and moaning, about what was happening. And that's not the case. That's not what's happening. So again, New York itself, you have what's going on with Brian Thompson. And now this person they're saying is his murderer, Luigi Mangione. And you have the whole thing with Daniel Penny and what did I say his name? Jordan Neely going on. And now you also have the fact that Jay-Z has been accused of raping a 13-year-old with Diddy in the room. This is what I heard. This is what I read. This is what I heard. That this girl was 13 years old, and it was after some, I think, MTV kind of thing. And they got this girl back to their place, which again, I fully don't understand how they're able to get these underage young girls without parental consent back to their place. Are they kidnapping them? Are they paying the parents? Are the parents part of it? Because that's also a huge question, right? So they're saying that they got this 13-year-old girl after, I think it was an MTV something or other, and took her back to wherever they were. I have not dove into this whole Jay-Z Diddy thing. One, because it makes your stomach turn and makes you want to vomit, and also makes you want to inflict extreme physical pain on somebody, because I have a daughter, and the thought of any of these kind of things happening to her, I would end a life for that. I don't even care. I would sit in jail and rot, and I would be perfectly okay with it. So I saw the information that came out, and it said a 13-year-old girl, and they said, we heard about this before, that there was a rape of a minor, and that it was Diddy and then another man and another woman that were in theory a couple who were all in the room when it happened. Well, now Jay-Z has been named as that person, and they're saying that Diddy raped this child, and Jay-Z and some female, I wonder what the female could be, were in the corner watching. Then Diddy stood off to the side with the female. Wonder who that could be. Beyonce, or J-Lo. And while Jay-Z raped this child. So that's what's being said right now. Jay-Z has come out with some, what's the word? I don't know. Some document, whatever, saying that he didn't do it, and he's gonna like sue the person who's saying he did it, blah, 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 blah. But this is what I thought. This is the very first thing I thought. Number one, holy jolly, number one, Tina Knowles, Beyonce's mommy, was on Instagram, right? She's verified. You know, it's her. It's her. It's not somebody else pretending to be Tina Knowles. Was on Instagram. ABC7 Chicago posted up a picture of Jay-Z and Diddy with the headline about Jay-Z raping a 13-year-old. Tell me why Beyonce's mommy, Jay-Z's mother-in-law, liked the post. Hit like on the post. Put her finger right on that like button. It lit up. Her name was now in the list of people who liked this post about this disgusting man. Does that give it credit? Okay, but then she unliked it because she had to. She's probably like, oh shit, no, accident. Didn't mean to do that. Take it away, take it away. But she's also smart. She wanted it to be known. She wanted it to be known that she saw it. She agrees with it. She might know something about it, whatever. Then y'all, do you remember that time where Beyonce's little sister went batshit crazy on Jay-Z in the elevator, and nobody could figure out what was going on, and Beyonce just kind of stood back in the corner, and everybody thought it was because Jay-Z was cheating on Beyonce? But what if, hear me out, what if Solange found out that Jay-Z was a creepy pedophile, which she obviously knew because, again, her sister was underage when Jay-Z started grooming her for whatever it is they've got going on. What if she found out about something that Jay-Z had done? What if he had cheated on her, but by way of raping a child? And Solange found out and lost her ever-loving mind and attacked Jay-Z in an elevator. I'm just saying. You put it all together. Put it all together. It all makes sense. Every single little bit of it makes sense. Saw this other thing, if I can find it on here. You know how Ellen DeGeneres was like Diddy's biggest fan, loved Diddy, right? And then when Diddy's the Diddy party files came out, suddenly Ellen was like, I'm leaving this country because of, oh, what's a good reason? What's a good reason? Oh, Trump. I'm leaving because of Trump. I'm getting out of here because of Trump. No, ma'am. You skirt because of the Diddy stuff, not because of Trump. But that's a very good excuse or backup reason or scapegoat. That's the word. Very good scapegoat reason on why you left the country. But really, it's because you know, Ellen DeGeneres, that you are slimy. You know you are slimy, and you know that you had something to do with some of these things. Because look, if I could get this picture to come up, come on now. The symbolism. People look at symbolism all the time. Like you look at angel numbers, 444, 1111, 111, 222, and that's when you're supposed to make a wish. It's an angel number. It's a good thing, right? That's what they say. Then there's the bunch of threes that nobody likes and a bunch of sixes that clearly you should not like. But there's pictures and all these. Come on, work. Yo, technology sucks sometimes. I want these pictures to come up so I can show you. Or it doesn't make any sense what I'm talking about if I can't. Look, black screen. So there's these pictures of Jay-Z and of Ellen DeGeneres, and they're both wearing the same white sweatshirt that has the picture of a head, if you will. See, finally, better late than never. There is Jay-Z and there is Ellen. And they are wearing these sweatshirts that look like, number one, who's that child next to Jay-Z? But they're both wearing these sweatshirts that look like somebody has smeared blood across a face, right? Right? Do y'all remember Wilson from Castaway? I'm not saying. I'm just saying. It looks real. Nah. A lot of people talk a lot of crap about Tom Hanks and saying that he's one of the biggest gross people out there between him and Leonardo DiCaprio, who is... If Leonardo DiCaprio is a disgusting human, in my opinion, one, because he's like 50 something years old, and if the girl that he's dating has hit puberty, he's like, ew, too old, get away, go away, give me somebody younger. So anyway, but seeing this, a lot of people have said that there is a connection between Tom Hanks and Diddy and Jay-Z and underground pedophile rings and the sex trafficking and everything else. And I don't know. I'm just saying, it's just weird that they're wearing a sweatshirt with the little blood-looking face thing on it, and it matches almost identically to the Wilson thing, and it gives me weird. It gives me weird vibes. You know what I'm saying? Very weird vibes. Okay, what else was on my thumbnail? I'm trying to remember the other thing that I put on the thumbnail. If you guys can remember, tell me. So we talked about... I'm trying to remember the order of everything. We talked about the murderer of Brian Thompson, in theory, allegedly, right? And we talked about Jay-Z and Diddy. I don't really want to talk about them anymore. And we talked about Kamala Harris as being, Time Magazine wants to make her Person of the Year. And I don't remember what else there was. Daniel Penny, we talked about him. But there was something else in... I don't remember. There's something else. It's fine. It's not a big deal. There's a lot happening right now, and that's what matters. Also, it's very hot in my car. I didn't turn it on, so there's no AC. Can y'all see me starting to sweat in here? It was 40 something degrees this morning, and now it's like 75. And tomorrow it's going to be 75, and the day after that it's going to be 52. 52 after 75. Make that shit make sense. Okay, let's get a little breeze. Okay. There was more, and I cannot remember what it was, so it's fine. I'm going to probably let you guys go for now then until more information comes out about everything that's going on. No, I got nothing. There was something else, and I can't remember, so it's fine. I love y'all immensely. Thank you for hanging out here with me for this. Just having a conversation. We'll have more of this conversation tomorrow. I'm sure there'll be a lot more information that has come out on either Luigi Mangione or the other two suspects they happen to have in, or they wanted to talk to. Anything's possible. Daniel Penny, BLM. I'm curious to see if anything's going to get lit on fire or looted in New York City after, you know, today. And then, of course, we got to keep an eye on what's going on with Jay-Z and all that stuff. So, y'all, I love you immensely. Thank you for being here. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your Monday. And I'll let you guys know what I think about Pilates tomorrow, in case you're interested. Don't forget, go check out X. A lot of stuff over there. It's just go follow it and read all the stuff I post, little videos too. And that's all. Okay. Love y'all. Bye. Adios.